Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Dr. Jasmine from the Psychologist.com, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about all things independent play. So it is Play Challenge Week, where every day this week we are dedicating one-on-one time to playing with our child. And maybe by this point you're like,
Dr. Jasmine, this is great and all, but when do I get a break? I'm overwhelmed. My child is always clinging onto me, asking to play, and I feel so guilty. How do I get a break? Jasmine, please help.
well, if this sounds like you, don't worry, mama, I got you. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and let's get on into it. So here's the thing to remember about independent play is it's something that happens gradually, right? So around 6 months, when they're an infant, they might be able to play for a couple minutes at a time, maybe 5 minutes. Then when they're around 12 months old, we're starting to look at maybe 10 minutes of independent play, but it's really not until they're toddlers, 2-3 years old, that we're looking at 30 minutes or more of independent play. So this is something that happens very gradually, and it's something that takes practice. It's also something that is dependent on their environment and your child's temperament, okay? So there's different kind of factors that go into this, but I just want you guys to keep in mind it increases with age. It's also dependent on temperament, and it's also dependent on you and the environment. And so that's what I'm going to focus on today, because that's what you have control over. So let's get into the tips on how you can encourage independent play. So tip number 1, okay, is I want you to take inventory of the toys you already have. And I want you to ask yourself, are these active toys or are these passive toys? Okay, now let me break down the two and explain why we want more passive toys than active toys. So active toys are like the toys that light up, they sing, they have music, they're more educational toys. I'm thinking of, all of the toys, the electronics, anything that kind of entertains your child, right? They press the button and then things light up and they just sit there and look at it, right? Versus a passive toy is a toy that only is activated by your child playing with it, right? So those those passive toys are the ones that are like the wooden blocks and the spoons and the cardboard box and the pots and pans and the dolls and the magnetiles and the Legos, right? They're all those toys that, your child can look at it, but until they use their imagination, until they use their innovation and their creativity, then the toy becomes activated, if you will, okay? And so that's why you want to take inventory. It's not to say active toys should be banned from your house. Don't do that. There is a time and a place for those, right? If we're thinking about increasing their ability to do independent play, we want to have lots of opportunities for them to play with the passive toys, right? Because that's where the imagination and the creativity is sparked, okay? So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to make sure that you're engaging in one-on-one play every day with your child, because this actually increases their ability to then engage in their own independent play, right? So that's why the play challenge is so important. That's one of the big reasons why I am so passionate about play, because when your child feels connected with you, when they feel like that they have that one-on-one connection and bond during that day, then they're more confident, they're more at ease, they're more comfortable to then be on their own, okay? So don't forget the importance of one-on-one daily play throughout the day if you can, okay? But if not, 5 to 10 minutes per day is enough. But if you find that they're struggling with independent play, you might need to increase your one-on-one play just a little bit, okay? Okay, tip number 3. This one is really important, y'all. Grab your notepad, write this down. I want you to be mindful of your role during play, okay? Because what happens is if we get into the cycle of playing for our child, entertaining our child during play, then then when they're on their own, they're going to be bored. They're not going to know what to do. They're not going to feel as confident in their ideas. So I want you to be very clear on your role. And your primary role during play is to be the observer, okay? Too often I see parents, and I'm guilty of this too, when we start to do that one-on-one play and we take over and we're asking questions and we're playing for our child and we are just getting too involved and not taking a step back, that actually decreases their ability to play independently, okay? So be mindful of that, take more of an observer role, and just remember this: if at nothing you're doing during play, follow your child's lead, okay? Follow their lead. Go where they go. You sit down, you plop yourself down, and then you just observe and you go with the flow and you go with what they're doing, okay? Sit back, hold your questions, hold your comments sometimes, and just listen. Do more of the listening than the talking, if you will, okay? That will increase their confidence, that will increase their imagination and their self-esteem, okay? And their ability to play on their own, which is what we want. Tip number 4 is to make sure that your play space is completely baby-proof. I like to call it kind of the yes space, and maybe you've heard of that. You want to create yes spaces, okay, instead of no spaces. So instead of constantly being like,
no, get out of there, no, don't touch that, no, that's an outlet, no, get off of there.
We want to create spaces in the home, and it doesn't have to be this big elaborate room. It could be a small area, but an area in the home where your child can completely roam and explore freely without us having to be like, no, stop, quit, don't, right? Because that really interrupts their play, and they're less likely going to be engaging in independent play if we have to be the supervisor and the monitor all the time, okay? So create yes spaces in your home. Okay, and in tip number 5, I'm gonna break down the gradual process that needs to happen in order to encourage independent play. Because remember, this is not something that's gonna happen overnight. It does take some practice, and it does take some intentionality, if you will, okay? So here's the gradual process. You're gonna sit down with your child and begin to play with them, okay? Remember, you're the observer in this situation. So you're gonna observe, maybe look for natural breaks to add in some comments and smile and laugh, but you're gonna wanna follow your child's lead. And then as they get more comfortable and as a little bit of time passes, then you can slowly move away, okay? Now, this is a very slow and gradual, right? So we're gonna slowly move away. Maybe you're at the other side of the room, okay? And then you can like play a little bit and, you know, watch what they're doing. You're still in the room, but maybe you grab a magazine, right? Or you grab a book, and you start to do your own thing while they play and you guys are in the same room, okay? So get them used to that, okay? Spend a couple minutes in that, maybe even a couple days if this is going to take more practice, but you want to practice being farther away from them while they engage in play. And then you say something like this: okay, sweetie, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, okay? I'm gonna go grab a cup of water, whatever it is. Oh, I'm gonna go check on something, right? But you give them that heads up, and you make your separation very brief, okay? So 1 to 2 minutes, and then always come back when you say you are, okay? So they're not looking for you and wondering where you went and feeling like they can't trust, okay? If they follow you in protest, that's fine. Just know they weren't ready yet for that for that separation, and that's okay. You just keep practicing that, right? And you do it slowly and gradually, okay? Keep practicing going away and coming back, going away and coming back, just so that they get used to the separation from you and they get used to playing on their own, okay? And keep in mind too, when we're talking about independent play, it also looks a lot like them being in the same room while you're doing things, right? It's not about sending them to their room or sending them to another room out of sight. A lot of times, and it's based on attachment theory, and it's based on our natural survival instinct. A lot of times, especially when we're talking about the little ones, younger younger than 2, they're gonna wanna be close to us, right? Because that's where they feel the safest. And so keep that in mind, that it's okay for them to want to come to be near you and want to know where you're at, want to keep eyes on you, and that's okay. They could still engage in independent play while being in the same room. Okay, I hope these tips were helpful. So go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also check out some other videos that I have. I have a whole tantrum playlist and also a recent video on how to handle aggressive behaviors that you might want to check out. All right guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.